welcome to the Way of the Illuminated Warrior Global Summit Series. My name is Perry Finkelstein, also known as Waska, and it's with great pleasure that I'm hosting this series of mindful experts in different fields who are going to be joining me to offer their stories, their experiences, and their knowledge in ways to help you to heal from past traumas and, really just to help you reach your truest, highest potential in different ways that they've experienced. So I want to introduce my guest today. His name is Bobby Carpenter, and he's a former NFL linebacker. Bobby holds an MBA, and he's a consultant and an adjunct professor, as well as a media personality. In 2005, Bobby starred with his Buckeye teammates to form what many have considered the greatest linebacker trio in college football history. Upon his graduation in 2006 with a degree in economics, Bobby was selected 18th in the NFL draft by the Dallas Cowboys. After 4 seasons with the Cowboys and 3 more spread across the Dolphins, Lions, and Patriots, he retired from the NFL and began his pursuit of an MBA, which he earned in 2015, specializing in finance and strategy. Bobby currently hosts a radio show on 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, Ohio, and he's made numerous appearances on ESPN, Big Network, and Fox News Channel, as well as other popular shows. He's actively involved with community outreach and other give-back type programs. Bobby currently resides in Columbus, Ohio, with his wife, Courtney, and their 4 children. So it's with great pleasure that I welcome Bobby. Thanks for joining us here today, Bobby.
Thanks, Waska.
Beginning with your football career and all, I gotta say, how cool is that playing for the NFL?
No, it was pretty great. I think as any kid, when you start playing sports, when you're younger, whatever it is, you kind of dream of being able to get to the highest point, to the highest level. And, it starts out as a dream. It's something that you kind of work on when you're younger, and you kind of slowly see it grow, and you're hoping that one day you'll be given that opportunity to get there. And, it doesn't happen for many people. And, you see it kind of incrementally happen over the course of time, whether it's, you start playing in high school, you become a starter, hopefully you're good enough then. Ultimately, my goal is just to be able to play in college. And then that happens, and there's various tiers of college. You get to go to Ohio State, fortunately, and, more goals are achieved there. And then finally, culminating with, playing in the NFL, which was always something that was awesome. My dad played. It was a dream of mine. Something that, I guess seemed a little more attainable because of my dad, but it was also something that he looked at and, made sure that I understood how difficult it was going to be too. This isn't something that, just because he played that would happen for me. So it was something that I worked a lot at, but it was awesome to achieve. I had a great time, met a lot of great people, and it was a fantastic portion of my life.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So, a lot of times you ask like little guys, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Be a fireman or a policeman or Batman or whatever. So is that, playing in the NFL? I know your dad was a coach and all, but was that something that was always like in the back of your head, like I want to play in the big leagues?
Yeah, I think it probably was, but I don't know if I really shared it like that. My dad told me, his goals when he was younger, he's like, I wanted to, he grew up he was born in the 50s, grew up through the 60s. Like, his 3 goals, he said he wanted to play football in the NFL, be an astronaut, or be a forest ranger. 3 things were kind of like all over the map. And he's like, I didn't really share any of those dreams with anyone. He's like, I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I wasn't the biggest kid or the fastest kid. It's like probably a forest ranger seemed like it was something that was probably the most likely out of all of those. He's like, so I didn't want to necessarily share it because you're going to have a million people tell you that you can't do something. And it was always like a dream of mine, a goal of mine, but I knew how incredibly difficult that it was. So I didn't necessarily want to just put it out there because it was pie in the sky a little bit. And, my parents made certain when I was growing up and working in school and, whatever sport it was, that, hey, you want to make sure that you're well-rounded. And, playing the NFL, it seems like a great dream. It's a great goal, but, it's incredibly difficult. So make sure you're good at all the other stuff. It forced me to play piano. I'm very proud of my academic accomplishments and just putting the time and effort there. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but One thing like my parents impressed upon me and, my brothers was, I want to be like a family of workers. And that's kind of how we've been able to have success in this world. You're born with some level of ability. Now, what are you going to be able to do with that from here on out?
Yeah. 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 You are a pretty smart guy. We're going to get to your successes and your business models and things like that. So I just want to focus a little bit more about like when you were growing up and playing football and all, just relating that to your relationships, like with your dad and all, and your parents. So your dad coached, so you actually played on his team. Like I remember, because I coached my boys in soccer and baseball, and I think hockey also. And I did that because I love them, and it was just great fun and all. And another reason that I did it was seeing some of these other dads, like where I live on Long Island, and it's probably true other places as well. Some of these dads were like, the number one thing was like, we're going to win, we're going to win. And actually that happened one year with my older son. They lost the first game and they never lost a game after that again. But this guy was a tyrant, and I wound up like assistant coaching just to really kind of, be an advocate for the other kids because he was so hardcore. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to coach also, just to remind, that it's supposed to be fun and not just, we got to win, we got to win. So did you go through any of that, with your dad or any other coaches as well?
The one thing that was great about my dad is I think he got into it for the kids. When he got done playing, he moved back to Lancaster, Ohio. It's where him and my mom are both from. And he's like, I just want to make sure that everybody has the same opportunities that I had growing up. And it wasn't necessarily because that got him to the NFL. It was like, these opportunities were to really develop you for a human being in life. And so he coached my junior high teams, and then he got the head high school job, and he's had that for the last 21 years. And it's, it's something that he never really, like, he always said, be your best. Like, we're going to work to be our best. But he made sure that he was developing every kid out there. You want to win. I mean, you get into sports because you're ultimately competitive, but that's especially at younger ages. It's about skill development. It's about teaching kids lessons in life. And even in high school, like, that's what it's all about. Very few guys are going to go on to be able to play, collegiately or the NFL. And I say guys or girls, like, it really doesn't matter. So, like, what are the skills that you're taking away for life that are going to be able to equip you when you're 25 or, when you're 35 and you have kids and, something happens in your life adverse, like, how are you going to be able to handle that? Are you going to kind of shell up and not be able to deal with it, shut your wife off, shut your kids off, or are you going to try to get up and try to figure out a better way to go about it? And that was kind of the methodology my dad always had. It was great. And my mom coached me in swimming as well. And, like, that was her thing. Like, they were grinders. Like, they were going to make sure that you worked, but they wanted every kid to really be the best that they could, regardless of it and what it was. And, like, something that they always said, like, you're going to reach your fullest potential. And whatever that may be, so it's going to be different for every kid. But we want you to be ultimately the best version of yourself that you can be. So that's kind of what I do. We're young. With my kids now, my oldest is only 9. We're going to have some fun. We're going to go to practice. Like, we'll make sure, everybody's getting the ball. We're going to work on our stuff. We're going to get better. You're going to know where you need to improve. And if it's something you really like, hopefully you'll go and improve upon that. But it's more than just the wins and losses. Like, those are going to be a byproduct of what you do. And Bill Belichick's always, this thing is like, it's the process. So you hear all these NFL coaches in college too. It's the process, but that's what it's really about in life is the process. The wins and losses, those will come. Those will be a byproduct of the work that you put in and the time and effort and energy. Those things are what happen because you do it the right way, every day outside of game day.
Yeah, great points. Great points. It's relating it to real life as well, which, thanks for elaborating on that. Yeah, so your dad was a football coach. Your mom was a swimming coach. You had 3 other brothers. You're the oldest, I believe, of your brothers. So I imagine you must have had a pretty competitive family, right?
Oh, it was very competitive. And, both of my parents come from big families. My mom's the youngest of 7. She's the only girl. My dad's the second of 5. He's got a brother and 3 sisters. It was competition at everything. And it's good and bad. I mean, there's negatives. Our family still is like that a little bit. We mix it up. I mean, there's things that we get in arguments about that there's no real reason for, but people love to win. And, like I said, winning is part of it, but, it's whether or not it's, a real game or anything, like it's just being competitive. And I think that was great. I mean, it gives you that edge in life where, you always are trying to be the very best. And it's just because that's what you want to do. And, there's a greater calling for that. Like, don't be satisfied with yourself if you're not trying to get the most out of what God gave you. And it's, I try to preach that to kids today, and just to make sure and understand, like, you're doing a disservice to people who have less ability than you if you don't get the most out of your ability every day.
Yeah, that's so important, because it is. I mean, obviously, you play sports or really in anything in life. Yes, you want to win, you want to be the best, but the humility that comes along with it, and just sportsmanship, like we learn from the youngest sport in Little League or whatever it is. It's like, at the end of the game, you go up and shake everybody's hand.
Yes.
That's like so important in life also with whatever you do. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because it's that's a big aspect.
Yeah, you go compete, you work hard. Before the game, you're respectful. After the game, you're respectful. Like, you respect the effort your opponent put out. You play tough, you play clean. Like, those are all the things that are great about sports. And afterwards, you respect your opponent's efforts, and hopefully they respect yours.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Another fun fact. You and your dad were both coached by Bill Parcells. So that must have sparked some pretty cool stories, right?
Yeah, it's playing for Bill. Like, it's unique. I mean, and it's something that I like to say. I mean, that's on my resume. Playing for Bill Parcells, and then playing for Bill Belichick later in my career. My dad played for both of those guys. They're Hall of Fame coaches. They go about it in different ways, but they're very demanding. Especially Parcells with his, just his personality. I mean, he wants to try to get the best out of you, and he's going to motivate you, and maybe a little unorthodox and maybe a little uncomfortable, but he wants to make sure he's getting the best out of you. And I think that that's very important. So I knew going in, my dad fully warned me, because he's going to push on you. He's probably going to push on you through me, and that it may not seem fair at the time. He's like, but he's going to want to just make sure that you're your very best.
Yeah, and you are. So that's
try.
Yeah, no, you did. So that's pretty cool. No, it's awesome. I mean, how many young guys, get on that field and want to achieve what you achieved? And what I see in you, and that's why I asked you to join this. I mean, I met you through ESPN, and I see and I meet a lot of different players and all. And I don't know them. I don't know you well, but just seeing the kind of man that you are, and hearing about your faith and just the give back and things that you do. It's that warms my heart. Being in television production, I don't just do sports. I mean, I've met movie stars and political figures and so many famous people, which I'm not starstruck. And honestly,
you got a wall full of Emmys back there. I mean, I'm in a hotel room, so
not all Emmys, but some tellies. But honestly, I mean, I didn't wear my Jet jersey today because whatever. I don't want to keep tormenting myself. But I'm a diehard Jet fan, so of course I still have hope. Every year we have hope, but we're not going to get into that now. But honestly, like, out of all the famous people and influential people, that really touched me was Marty Lyons, man. Like his like Make-A-Wish foundation. I don't know if it was Make-A-Wish was his, but years ago, I remember I was hired to work with him on that, and I was like so touched by his genuine, authentic, giving self. I was just like, you know what? Not only take my pay for the day, but I'm going to make a donation. He just, I mean, I loved him on the field. I love going to the games and all, because we had season tickets for 9 years on 45-yard line, 9 rows up. It was great. Was there through the glory days. But just seeing what he did as a human being, and actually bumped into him. My kids were young when his kids were young. Bumping into him in Babies R Us and Toys R Us. He's just a regular guy, and just giving back. That really touches me, because I believe when you have like influential people, whether it's you have a lot of material assets, money or whatever, or just you have the ability to influence. I think it's a responsibility to do that. So And I know that's something that you do as well. So let's talk about that, because I know you give back with like the cancer cruise and literacy and all. So let's talk about the Bobby, the sensitive Bobby, the give back Bobby, the community supported Bobby.
So there's three things, and it's maybe a little biblical or whatever it is that I always think you can give back. You can give your time, you can give your talent, you can give your treasure. And everybody always looks at the last piece, like, how much money do you give? And I think it's important to donate, especially if you are very blessed in any of three of those areas to be able to help out. But, that's only one prong of it. And, like coaching youth sports, I mean, that is a method of giving back. If you are giving of your time. And if you have a unique talent, and maybe your talent isn't you know the most about the sport, but it's just you have the patience and the ability to communicate. And so, whether it's being a part of, the Second Seven Foundation, which I'm a part of, which, promotes literacy to second graders. It's, that's tremendous, and, we'll donate to that, but also, like to get out and go try to read and try to make an impact, on kids' lives and tell them a little bit about my story. And hopefully that'll, inspire somebody. But, giving to your time, like, everybody now is so busy. We live in a digital world where everyone's staring at their screens. Like, take some time. Go have some real human interaction with people. Try to affect somebody's life, especially a young kid, because you have no idea what they're dealing with at home. Like, they've got all kinds of problems. And so I try to get involved with youth coaching. And I ended up coaching one of my son's teams this year. I didn't plan on it because I knew I was going to be really busy this fall. But the guy reached out to me. He ran. He's like, "Hey, I know you've coached here in the past. We don't have anyone else that's volunteering. Will you do it?" I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'm going to have to get an assistant. I'm going to have to miss some practices here and there. But, being able to just give of your time to other human beings. And both of my parents, have been coaches. My mom coaches a club swim team, has for years. They don't make no coaches at at the high school, middle school, youth levels. They're not doing that to get rich. They put in a lot of time, put in a lot of emotional effort, a lot of your physical effort. I mean, all these things, it's a painstaking process, but you do it because you want to see people have success and have opportunities. So, I've tried to do that. The Buckeye Cruise for Cancer is the same thing. We get to do some wonderful things there, have these awesome fundraisers. We get involved financially, but you also, being help to be catalyst, help raise money through other people. And just have that human interaction with people that they love to see. And, I'm not a saint by any stretch. I have bad days, and there's days I don't want to talk to people, and like all those things. That's real. Like, that's part of being a human being. But always trying to take some time to be polite and courteous to others. Like, it's something that's kind of lost in society today. And you can do that through a variety of aspects. Everyone looks at, like, celebrities, whether it's, they're actors or singers or high profile athletes, and those people have a much bigger platform. Well, yeah, they do, but everything is local. You can impact people around you just as easily. And I've watched it happen, in the community. The number of coaches that I've been around who I remember, like, distinctly, who invested in me. And I'm talking like third grade soccer coaches or, a fifth grade basketball coach, and remember what they did for me and how they improved my life. Like, those things are big. And, you can do it through different, whether it's a Boys and Girls Club, anything, like, just investing in young people. And there's so many different diseases and things out there that you can always raise money for, and have unbelievable things. But I believe if you invest, in America, like, say children of the future, whatever that means. The kids, they will be the next generation of leaders in the United States. That's a scary prospect. It's an exciting prospect sometimes, but if you want to sit around and complain about everything, well, why don't you try to enact some change and to make sure that those people are the best equipped to be able to have the type of society that we'd like to live in.
Yeah, right on, man, right on. So that's why I want you to share that. Thank you for putting yourself out there and doing all that good work, because it really is so vital and important. And you don't have to do it, but obviously you have that that grace and that beauty within you. So thank you. It's beautiful.
Oh, hey, I'm not moving mountains. We're talking about a couple hours a week here and there. That's what I try to tell everybody. It's not that much, man.
You're humble, man. You're humble, because you know what? If everybody did a couple hours a week and if everybody just gives a little bit, it's a catalyst for change. It really makes a huge difference. So it's it's great to see that, and hear that. Yeah. So I imagine your kids are will be fairly well rounded, because it sounds like, from what you're sharing, your parents were, they instilled a lot of good things within you. Yes, be competitive, but also, to obviously to give back and to be fair and to have that sportsmanship type attitude. So what do you see in your three boys and a girl, right?
Yeah. I mean, my youngest is 2, so I mean, you never know what's going on there. And my oldest 3, they're 9, so recently 9, like 7.5, turning 8, and then 5. And they're young. I try to get them to do everything, and everybody asks me, "You gonna get them to play football?" I don't know. I mean, they play flag right now. Probably gonna let them play tackle till they're a little older. I didn't play like full-on football till I was 13. I played soccer, I swam, played basketball growing up. Those were kind of my sports until I got older. I tell them, like, just go out and do something. Like, find something. And I'm a big advocate. You don't want to, just inundate your kids with a lot of stuff. But, hey, we're going to try a lot of things because every kid is different. And so you have no idea exactly what they're going to end up being good at. So try to just get full exposure. I played the piano for 6 years. So I have a soft spot in my heart for that. I hated it when my mom made me do it. I didn't enjoy it. I'm glad I can do it now and read music and play a little bit still. So our kids are doing that. So are any of them going to be, playing the NFL or any other sport? I don't know. I mean, selfishly, I'd like to see your kids like what you like, but if none of them get into that, that's fine. We're going to find something we like, though. Waska, we're going to find something. We're going to work hard at it. I don't know what that is. It's going to probably be different for every kid, but we're going to find it, and we're working on it right now.
Right on. Yeah. No, it's beautiful. So, you have your radio show, According to Carp, and I know obviously you talk about sports and a lot of things that's going on in the sports world, but you also address other world issues and things. And I know you're also passionate about like helping young people to find like leadership and have good mindsets. And I remember reading something that you had the four E's.
Enthusiasm, energy, effort, and execution.
Okay, so elaborate a little bit on that, how we could change mindsets with that.
I think that they're kind of drivers. When you look at that, I mean, it's tough to have energy if you don't have enthusiasm. It's tough to have effort if you don't have energy. Like, those 3 things are things that don't take talent. Just having like a positive enthusiasm. When you look at it, it's something that, it doesn't take any effort to kind of be a positive person and want to do things. You can complain the whole way around it, and everybody gets guilty of it sometimes, me especially. But when positive mindset, you look at things in a positive way, generally you're gonna perform better at it. So enthusiasm, it's going to drive your energy. You're going to be a more energetic person. You're going to be more passionate about what you're doing. You're going to be able to pour more in to other people. Like, everybody sees people in the world that they walk around like, gosh, I don't want to talk to this person, because it's always such a downer. Like, they always are complaining about everything. And so you don't want to be that guy. So when you have the enthusiasm, it drives the energy. Those 2 things, okay, that's going to allow you to have maximum effort. If you like what you're doing, you're passionate about it, you're going to have great energy. Like, you're naturally going to put more effort into it because you're going to care about it. It's going to be more fun. And regardless, I mean, whether it's like digging ditches or working on a spreadsheet, whatever it might be, playing the piano, shooting a basketball, like all those things, they're going to be great. And like, then the last piece of it is execution. And you put those 3 things in that they require no talent at all. Like, there's no ability that you need to have energy, effort, energy, enthusiasm, energy, and effort. Like, you can do that regardless of whether you're 6'7" and can jump through the gym and run a 40 and 4.5, like all those things. You don't need any of that. You can be an average sized person with less than average skills. Like, you can still have all those things, and they're going to lead you to execute at least at the best level that you're able to. I mean, I don't know anybody that's ever achieved anything great that complained the entire time they did it. Like, that's just not how it works in this world.
Yeah. So it's being proactive. You obviously have all these qualities, and you have to be proactive and do something about it.
Yeah. I mean, so that's what it is. Like, figure out what it is. Have some energy. Have some effort. Have some enthusiasm about it. And then you're going to be able to execute whatever your maximum ability is. That's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, there's so many, I raised three boys, and, two of them, well, one of them graduated college. One's going into his third year. My oldest guy, he's the organic scientist, the organic chemist. My younger,
goodness. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's into it. He watched Breaking Bad, and he had other ideas. That motivated him. I said, hey, I'll fund you, but no, not really. Well, maybe, I don't know.
That's amazing.
My youngest guy is in his third year. He goes to Cooper Union in the city. He's an artist, and the middleman, college wasn't for him. He tried architecture and personal training, which he's very into working out. So I think he's going to wind up doing something with that also. And he just got his real estate license. So but I told him, I'm like, all of you guys, it's college is great, but it's not necessarily for everybody. But find your passion, and one of them, I won't name which one because they might watch this. He's like, I gotta make money. I'm like, yes, you gotta make money, but find something that you're passionate about, and you'll figure out a way to make money. It's not just all about making money, So, they get those little lessons, and like you were saying, like, yeah, you want them to be like you because, of course, as parents, we love them and we want the best for them, and of course, we know what's best for them. But you give them what you can, and they figure out what's best for them, and we have to support that, and just hopefully they're safe and healthy, and it's a wonderful journey watching how that goes along the way.
No, and you think about most people that have been really successful, and I've talked to a bunch of people about this, and everybody always see the fruit, like the end product of, well, this person does this and they make all this, they make a ton of money at this, or they're very famous, or they've had all this success here. A lot of people get into things and they do them like they were an intern when they started, or they're doing something for little or no money at the beginning, but they really like doing it. And since they like doing it, they put in the time. They have a great attitude about it. They're going to put a lot of energy into it. Like, their effort's high. And then they start executing like at a high level because of all of those things. And, it goes back, you start talking about, Bill Belichick, Urban Meyer, whoever it is, Bill Parcells. Like, I've been fortunate enough, Jim Tressel, like a lot of great coaches have invested in me. And all of them, it's the entire time. It's the process. It's the process. Like, nobody starts on third base and then just, someone hits a sac fly and you run home. I mean, you got to grind at the plate. You work your way around the bases. And if you do that and you're doing it with something that you really want to do, you're going to end up having a lot more success, and you'll find a way to be financially successful at it as much as you need to be. I mean, I don't know what that means. Like, how much money does any person need? I don't know. I mean, you'll figure that out as you move along, but if that's the focus of it, you're never going to really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, very true, very true. And and also, like, some of these like mega successful people who we perceive or we're told that are successful, they've failed so many times.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they just keep getting up, and they keep going at it and going at it and going at it. They just keep pounding away at whatever their dream is, whatever their vision is, until they succeed. So
absolutely. I mean, you think about people that write screenplays and different athletes. I mean, and they tell you their stories. I was cut off this team, or I was here, nobody wanted me, or this film got rejected 14 times, and finally someone took a shot on it. And, they end up becoming a star because they believe in themselves and they love what they're doing. They poured their heart and soul into it, and they were relentless. Like, they didn't give up. They pursued their dreams, whatever it might be. And like that's not by mistake. Like, that's how it works. There's a lot of people that do that, and it may be years and years and years. And maybe that's not the ultimate thing that even leads them to success. Maybe along the way of them trying to do what they think they want, they find something else they like even better. But and when you get done playing, like, this is something that someone told me, guys, when they get done, they try to figure out, like, well, I don't know what I want to do. So they sit around and, like, you try to wait for this, like, aha moment, as if one day, like, eureka, it's going to just hit you. Like, no, like, that doesn't work. Like, you've got to try a lot of things. Try everything. you may not know what you like, but you'll figure out what you don't like. And then you'll be able to start eliminating stuff as you go. And so then as you move along, you start moving, this selection set over here, focus on things that you've enjoyed more, and eventually it'll weed itself out and figure it out. But you have to be aggressive and kind of pursue it.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah, there's so many social pressures a lot of times. Like, you got to figure out what you want to do. You got to know what you want to do. Just do it, make money. And it's a rough paradigm to live, So I want to ask you something a little more personal. Hopefully you'll be open to being vulnerable here. So,
all right.
Listening to your story and all, and having like an awesome dad, which sounds like he was pretty awesome. Because again, I do a lot of work with young guys and older guys, and it's a recurrent theme, not having the relationships with our dads that we would have liked to have. I love my dad. I know in his way he loved me. His dad died when he was 13. He woke up and he fell asleep in bed with his dad. He woke up, his dad was dead. I can't even imagine at 13 years old living with that. And he started drinking, with 13 years old. So he was a functional alcoholic. He was storming Norman. Everybody loved him. My friends would stop by his place, because my parents got divorced, of course, and they want to party with him. But, it's very different when you're the son of that guy, and you wanted something else out of that relationship. So, hearing your story, I want to ask you, growing up in the family that you did and the situations that you were in, what, if any, like were some of your like really hard challenges growing up, just to, become a man?
No, it's a great question, because I'm dealing with this, and I've had these tough conversations with my wife, and she grew up in a much different type of household than I did. Like, I grew up in a very conventional family. So did she. Just my family was always ultra competitive. We're a family of yellers, for better or worse. I mean, my dad's not really a big yeller. He's more laid back, but he was around. He was always present, which I always appreciated. And he didn't really say a whole lot. He was always there for me to listen. And when I had a question or some advice that he needed to give, but he wasn't overbearing. But it was tough. I mean, I grew up and went to the same high school that my dad did. There's a picture of him playing for the New York Giants hanging in our atrium as you walk by every day. And I always wanted to try to put myself in that category. What do I need to do to get to that level? And he did a good job of being like, hey, you can be your own person. Do whatever it is you want to do. He's like, but just understand. He's like, it's not fair. He's like, life isn't fair. He's like, you being my son has afforded you a lot of opportunities and some, to be able to do some things. Hopefully you're blessed with a lot of ability. He's like, but people are going to judge you differently because of that. And so there's always going to be challenges with it. And as a parent, you try to insulate your kid the best you can. But I've told my wife, like, it's not fair, to my boys, but people are going to judge them based upon what I've done. And if they're not, up to the caliber they believe, some people are going to have a hard time with that. And so try to tell you, I'm trying to prepare my kids for that reality. Like, you don't have to be me. There's going to be a lot of people that expect you to be that, and it's not right. It's not fair, but that's just the reality of the world. That's how it is. And so it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. And there's going to be a lot of times that things you don't like about it, and you don't have to be me at all. But you need to make sure that you're always working. You can handle this. You can handle the pressures that people put upon you, because they're not going to be fair. And that's kind of a lot of what, my dad did with me. He prepared me for that in his own way. I mean, his dad, he had a much different relationship with his dad than we had. I have a much different relationship with my son. You try to be, maybe a little bit more personal with them. And my dad's gotten better as I've gotten older, and we have a great relationship now. It wasn't bad growing up, but it was it was, I wouldn't use the term professional, but he, it wasn't like the warmest thing in the world, but he was a heck of a lot warmer. We've talked about that since then, and then him and his father were, and it's just kind of a generational thing. And so we've worked on that. He's a great grandfather to my kids. Like, he's phenomenal with it. He's been a great piece of sounding board for my advice. When I need stuff, I really appreciate him being there. you know, he's like, you do a lot of things that I've never even thought about doing. He's like, it's tremendous. And there was a lot of opportunities, like, you know, just with being at ESPN and being able to do some stuff that he's like, you know, I wanted to be at home more. I wanted to move back to Lancaster, which is outside of Columbus. I didn't want to stay in New York. I wanted to go back to where we were from. And he turned out a lot of great opportunities, whether it was coaching or whether it was in the media. And I think even more so than like when my brothers and I played, he enjoys kind of living that life through us, that we maybe are doing some things that he didn't do that, you know, part of him wanted to, but he sacrificed a little bit here or there to have a different life. And so it's been tremendous kind of getting to know him, you know, as an adult. And I hear new stories about him all the time, either from that he'll tell or, you know, quite possibly, you know, his teammates from high school, college, or the NFL will tell about him. And it's great just to kind of get to know him a little bit more. And like I said, we always had a good relationship, but it was different. It's just every single person can attest. Like, no two people, like my brother's relationship with him is going to be different than mine, and mine's different with my boys. But, you know, you do the best you can with the person that you are.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, man. I appreciate it.
No, it's all good.
And how about you with your brothers? I know it was competitive, especially sports and all, but was there like sibling rivalry or, you know?
Oh, goodness. That is a full day question right there. I mean, that's always the case. And there's 4 boys. We all ended up playing college football. My younger brother, immediately below me, played at Cincinnati. My third brother played at Marshall, and the youngest played at Ohio University. And so, yeah, there was always rivalry about who was the best, you know, who was the most like dad in this. I mean, and that stuff still, like, goes on today.
I was going to ask you, like, what's the relationship now? Like, how do you guys now?
Yeah, we all get along. I mean, and when you have 4, like I said, when you have like more than just 2 kids, like there's more relationships to manage. So you don't necessarily have, you know, those big fights. I mean, there's going to be rifts, obviously, between different siblings. But if I'm in a fight with one of my brothers, I have 2 others that we can talk to, and they can help mediate and kind of work through it. But you're always going to be competitive. Like, that's just the reality. You know, you're always going to kind of have your birth order, and, you know, people feel like this or they feel like that. You know, those feelings never really go away, and it's okay. But when we all get together, sometimes we'll have a couple of drinks around Christmas, and we might as well be in high school again, and like fighting about the same nonsense. We're fine. I mean, we're fighting about different things, but it's with the same passion. And, you know, a lot of times it's completely irrelevant. Like, there's not even a point to what we're arguing about.
Right.
And you have that all the time with big families.
That's great. That's great. Your mom must have been like a very strong woman. There's a lot of testosterone in your family. I mean,
like I said, she was the youngest of 7 and the only girl. So she was equipped to have 4 boys. She is a pistol. I mean, I'm much more like my mother than my father when it comes to personality. She is passionate. She's fiery. She's a very strong woman. It's awesome. Like, I fight with my mom to this day the same as I fought with her in high school, because she's like, you'll always be your mom. Like, that's just the reality of it. And there are times where I'm like, Mom, I'm 35 years old. I'm going to raise my kids the way that I want to. I appreciate your input. I'm not saying you raised me wrong. I'm just telling you, this is decisions that my wife and I have made. And so please support us in that. You can speak your piece, but I don't want to fight with you about it on a daily basis. And your parents will never stop being your parents, because they always want to try to help you.
So I'm not the only one that went through that, huh?
No, that's just the reality of life and the mom.
Still going through it. I go through that with my sister too, telling me how to raise my kids. You know, it's like, you raise yours, I'll raise mine, and, you know, we'll figure it out on our own, you know, and take responsibility however it turns out. Yeah. But it sounded like you had a pretty well-rounded childhood, so that's great, and loving parents and all, which is so important. Yeah. So I just wanted to give you the opportunity, because you know, for our viewers out there, Bobby's got a generous gift for those of you who will opt into the link that comes along with the video and all. So if you'd like to share that, Bobby, a little bit about what you're offering. Yeah,
you know, so I played. I'm trying to figure out what's something that some people would like, and I've got some different memorabilia and stuff. And a lot of people love game worn, you know, items. So, you know, everybody opts in. We'll put together a little raffle. and pick a winner, or a couple winners to get some autographed gloves. We'll send those out. Get your information, and they'll be able to get those to you. So if you're a football fan, you'll love it. If you're not, you hopefully have some friends that maybe could fall in, and that's something that they would want to have. But it's kind of a unique thing, and then hopefully it's something you'd like.
Yeah, who wouldn't like that? Come on. Everybody knows somebody who would like that. It's a great gift. Very generous of you, Bobby. Thank you. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So before we wrap it up, I want to give you the opportunity to, to say anything else, or, anything we may not have touched upon that you might want to share.
Everybody has their own path in life, and you're always going to have problems, troubles, and we live in this social media society, microwave society, where everybody wants things now, and everybody wants to portray their life as perfect. And the reality is, and I've been fortunate enough to meet a ton of wildly successful people. I'm fortunate to call some of them friends. Everybody has the same problems. Everybody's got the same issues. You got family problems. You got problems when you're dealing with relationships, all this stuff. You're never as successful as you really want to be. Even when you look at people that are quarterbacks in the NFL, that or people that are broadcasting, on primetime television, for sports. Everybody has their own unique set of issues, and they're always going to have problems. And so now everybody dresses it up on social media where they only take pictures of the good stuff of their life.
Yeah.
And so that affects a lot of people in a negative way. But, you talk to those people, the close friends, guys who I really love and I play with, I love talking about the problems that we have with our parents, with our siblings, with our kids, the real problems that everybody faces, jobs, and work opportunities, and all that stuff. And so, yeah, it's real. It's out there. There is no perfect life. There's just life. And so you do the best with it as you can. I think if you always, wake up every day, I try to write down what I want to do the night before, a to-do list, get some things accomplished, try to do it on a weekly basis, Sunday night, and then, narrow it down throughout the week. And I try to pursue that and get that done. And hopefully that helps. But, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be able to check every box. But you do the best you can each and every day. And, you pursue it really hard. And I think good things usually happen.
Yeah. Great advice, man. Really. That's practical, really good advice. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. My pleasure, Waska.
Yeah, thank you again for taking the time to join us. I'm sure, all those that watched, got some good pearls of wisdom from what you shared today. So, again, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here today.
Hey, my pleasure.
All righty. Well, I hope the viewers really got a lot out of this interview with Bobby. You could see he's not just the rock god of sports. He's a human being offering awesome wisdom. He's, he opened up his heart to us today, which I really appreciate. And, shared some stories and some practical things that we could all do to make our lives a little bit more better. So again, thank you, Bobby. And, make sure you click on the link that'll accompany this so you have the opportunity to get Bobby's generous gift. And, keep tuning back in. We'll have some other, some wise wisdom keepers here to share their stories and their good suggestions to help all of you out there. So until then, be well and illuminate your path with loving kindness.